Excellencies, distinguished guests, all protocols observed, Molweni, Sawubona, bienvenue, welcome to the 28th World Economic Forum on Africa. My name is Elsie Kanza, and I'm head of Africa at the World Economic Forum. We were looking forward to an exciting meeting after taking a break last year, and the main reason for that break was to help us develop more impact on our initiatives, on the conversations coming out of the meeting. And similar to this year, in 2017, the emphasis was very much on inclusive growth, what we need to do differently, what new commitments, partnerships are needed to be able to deliver on that. It has literally turned out to be an eventful start. Allow me to begin by expressing the forum's solidarity with the people of South Africa, seeking to drive change in the face of systemic violence against women. This is a top priority for our meeting, and one we want all our leaders to take action on. Next. Next, I'd like to express apologies on behalf of His Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa. He has been unexpectedly called to Parliament. He's doing what every good leader does. He's talking to his people and will rejoin us, as some of you have already been interacting with him yesterday as well as earlier today, and will be able to continue to do so soon. Accordingly, the Honorable Minister Tito Mboweni will be sharing his speech on his behalf. I made mention about impact, and you'll hear more, and some of you have already been literally participating in sessions where there was conversations about this and taking issues forward. Allow me to just highlight three critical ones, which we welcome your support on. But also for the benefit of people who are not able to participate in those closed-door conversations. One is the issue of youth unemployment, and we're looking to tackle that by launching a new platform, the Africa Growth Platform, which is essentially seeking to unlock the entrepreneurial spirit of our youth, in particular, small businesses, which are also dominated by women, and enabling them to grow into bigger businesses. Second is a risk resilience platform. Some of you are from countries that have suffered heavily from climate change and health outbreaks, and there's a need to galvanize resources to restore resilience, as well as to strengthen the society's ability to withstand such pressures. And lastly, with respect to e-commerce, we want to ensure that Africa is not left behind in the digital economy, and we're doing this by supporting a Pan-African platform that is seeking to develop millions of jobs, again, e-commerce, small businesses, so with a particular emphasis on young people and women. With those few words, I'd like to call to and invite Professor Klaus Schwab, our founder and executive chairman, to officially open this 28th World Economic Forum on Africa. Professor.
Thank you, Elsie. Your Excellency, Minister Tito Mboweni, Minister of Finance of South Africa, Your Excellency Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, heads of states, esteemed heads of states and heads of government, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, a very warm welcome to the 28th World Economic Forum annual meeting on Africa. We are gathered here to discuss the theme of shaping inclusive and sustainable growth in the fourth industrial revolution. Globally, we are witnessing heightened geopolitical and economic tensions, compounded by unprecedented climate change challenges. As United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said in Davos earlier this year, we no longer live in a bipolar or unipolar world, but we are not yet in a multipolar world. We are in a kind of chaotic situation of transition. In this challenging time, we need renewed frameworks for cooperation amongst all stakeholders, governments, business, civil society, the young generation, to help shape an inclusive and sustainable future for Africa. During this meeting, we are focused on 4 platforms of collaboration, namely, first, innovation, focused on preparing the region for the 4th industrial revolution. Second, cooperation focused on trade, sustainable development, and environmental stewardship. Third, job creation growth, focused on digitalization and competitive industries. And fourth, stability, focused on peace building, leadership, and institutional governance. We are proud to foresee the opening of the first center for the 4th industrial revolution here in South Africa in the context of this annual meeting. This revolution, this 4th industrial revolution, is fundamentally disrupting how we live and how we work around the world. Africa cannot afford to be left behind. Indeed, the 4th industrial revolution can solve many issues that came with the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd industrial revolutions. It can serve as a catalyst for Africa to leapfrog into the age of the 21st century, very much dominated by new technologies. Allow me to commend also Africa leaders on forming the world's largest trading bloc through the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. At a time when the world is experiencing increased geostrategic competition, strong reasons are fundamental pillars of globalization. Earlier this year in Davos, participants discussed the need for a new type of globalization, globalization 4.0. Such globalization should respect diversity. It should accept that different nations have different approaches to development, to the way economies are managed and societies are organized. But those differences should not stop us from looking for common solutions for shared challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here not just to share our minds, our experiences, and our ideas for the future. We are here to take action which has impact. And Elsie has already mentioned some of the concrete initiatives which will be started during this meeting. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it is for me now a great honor, actually, to invite Tito Mboweni, a friend for 30 years, and you know about his importance over the last decades in South Africa. So we are very glad, I'm very glad that you take the seat of the President, who, as we know and hope will join us later. Minister, the floor is yours.
when I say I during the delivery of this text, is the President. So, President Klaus Schwab, Excellencies, President of the World Economic Forum, Mr. Borge Brande, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Ms. Amina, Mohammed, heads of state and government, ministers, members of the business community, representatives of international organizations, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to address this first plenary session of the World Economic Forum Africa 2019 at a time when we're all confronted with the same question: how to harness the potential of the fourth industrial revolution in pursuit of development and economic growth. And importantly, how to ensure that as we take this quantum leap into the future, we do not leave society's most marginalized behind. Disruptive trends and technologies are changing the way we live, the way we work, and the way we do business, and the way we govern. We must respond with agility to craft a roadmap for navigating this new environment. We must ensure that our citizens are prepared, and if necessary, that they are shielded from any negative consequences which might arise. As African countries, we must take advantage of the opportunities presented by the technological changes to enhance our competitiveness in the global landscape. This rests on our ability to adapt and to evolve. The growth of mobile money systems on the continent is an example of how much technology can broaden access to markets, connect companies and people, and support the growth of startups and small businesses. We're entering an era in which many things are unknown. We need to prepare our young people for jobs that haven't yet been created. We need to adopt incentive programs for industries that may experience significant structural disruption in just a few years' time. But at the same time, there is much more that we know. We know that the free flow of data is at the heart of this revolution. Consideration, therefore, has to be given to privacy, data protection, and intellectual property rights. We know that workforces in just about every industry will be impacted by automation, possibly resulting in downsizing and redundancies. According to McKinsey, up to 375 million workers globally may have to change their occupational category and acquire new skills by 2030. Employers will need to make substantial financial commitments to ongoing upskilling and reskilling in response to labor market needs. We need to stimulate entrepreneurial activity because many of the big companies that are the lifeblood of economies of today will be displaced by leaner, more adaptable small and medium enterprises. Our response must be collaborative, multi-sectoral, and inclusive. That's why we, as South Africa, are working with our neighbors to develop a continental strategy led by the African Telecommunications Union. This collaboration must extend itself to the private sector, academia, policymakers, and other stakeholders. In South Africa, for example, we have established a presidential commission on the fourth industrial revolution to identify strategies and action plans that will position our country as a competitive global player in this new space. Our response to the fourth industrial revolution should not merely be defensive, in the same way as when the workers in Manchester noticed that the introduction of new technology might mean that they have to change their ways and begin destroying the equipment. We shouldn't do that. That's me now. So I proceed with what the president is saying. We must harness these changes to solve some of our most pressing economic and developmental challenges. Africa can and must take advantage of these changes to industrialize in a new way, to pursue inclusive growth and attract investment. New technologies can also be put to better use in improving service delivery. We have seen, for instance, the way in which India has leveraged technology to broaden access to banking in its rural areas, and has even digitized its public distribution system that provides subsidized food and non-food items to vulnerable groups. This type of innovation presents tremendous opportunities for tasks like social grant distribution, electrification, and internet access. We must be open to new ways of doing things. We must be prepared to take risks or risks being left behind. We must always take the circumstances and varying levels of development of the many countries here into account. What has worked in one place may not work altogether in another. When it comes to digital inclusion, the focus must be on achieving critical mass on internet penetration. We all know that economic growth, job creation, and entrepreneurial activity is inextricably linked to broadband access. We therefore need to ensure that broadband access, like healthcare and education, is available to all. If we do not overcome social, economic, and spatial inequality in the provision of broadband, we will simply perpetuate the economic exclusion of the majority of the people. In the development of our policy and in the implementation of our programs, we need to ensure that technology promotes greater equity and broader social and economic participation. As African countries, we share a common determination to be part of this new age of disruption and to join the economy of the future. That's the end of the President's speech, but let me add and say that we welcome all Africans who have come to this conference. We welcome all Africans who live in South Africa. We are all Africans. God bless Africa.
Thank you all. I don't know, should I say Mr. President or Mr. Minister? I thank both. But I have to add one point. I was so impressed to hear this embracing of the fourth industrial revolution, because I have seen the discussion which went on in quite some media. I think, if you allow me, as being the person who first conceptualized the notion of the fourth industrial revolution, there is often a misunderstanding. And the misunderstanding is that it is an isolated new technological wave. No, it will bring new products. But as you rightly said, Minister, it is an amplifier and accelerator also of the second and third industrial revolution. So in order to reach the benefits even of the second and third revolution, the transition into the fourth industrial revolution is absolutely necessary. Now I have the great pleasure to welcome the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed. We are pleased. I know how busy you are at the moment, and to have you here is a special honor, and it shows also the commitment which you have, of course, to this continent, but I know how much you are engaged in making this world a better place in all your different endeavors. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Klaus Schwab. And let me see if I can get it right. The President of the Republic of South Africa, ably represented by the Minister of Finance. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, many, many colleagues and friends, we are at a dawn of a new era thanks to unprecedented technological change, technological advances that are bringing much more promise, but also some unpredictability. They're adding to the uncertainty of a world already unsettled by many headwinds that include political conflicts, climate change, and other global challenges. They also add a new element to a scourge that each of our societies continues to battle with: violence against women and girls. Sadly, social media has become a new platform to target, threaten, and silence women, and an increasing contributor to violence in all its forms. To come to terms with these uncertainties, the implications for partnerships will be critical, and I thank the World Economic Forum for its support as our partnership continues to deepen and to grow more dynamic, but more importantly, responsive to the challenges that are demanded of us, thus shaping a new narrative for an inclusive and just globalization. The fourth industrial revolution has spread faster than any of its predecessors. It took over 60 years for cars to reach 50 million users. It took electricity 46 years to reach the same number of users. And it took mobile phones 13 years and the internet just 7 to reach the number of users. And today, a viral radio, a new video game can reach tens of millions of people in a matter of days. New technology has spread at a speed faster than we're able to grasp or manage its collateral impact on development, on peace and security, and especially on human rights. Our shared challenge, and that includes governments, civil society, the academic community, and industry itself, is to further the good that it can bring while better managing the potential to undermine development, harm peace and security, and curtail the enjoyment of human rights. Technological advances offer great hope for accelerating progress towards the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Digital technology is connecting people across the world instantaneously and provides access to information at services at very low cost. In the last 10 years, millions of people in developing countries have opened their first financial account thanks to digital ID and mobile technologies. Digital access can improve the quality of education, where qualified teachers are not readily available. People living in areas without medical services now have access to healthcare providers via remote digital devices, thus preventing the toll of disease burden on the poor, but especially on our women and our children. At the same time, automation and robots have accelerated the substitution of capital for labor. Businesses in the platform economy employ fewer workers and are more dependent on intellectual property and other intangible capital. Sadly, these trends too are making income and wealth distribution much more unequal. Despite the increasing availability of new technologies, people living in poverty still don't fully enjoy the benefits. The world has a new dimension of inequality, the digitally empowered on the one hand and the digitally deprived on the other. Globally, again, women are disproportionately represented in the digitally deprived, leading to a significant loss of opportunity for them and on half of the potential and capacity of our societies and economies. If governments and the international community aren't able to better proactively manage this digital divide in all its new and old dimensions, the fourth industrial revolution could exacerbate inequality and make our growth less inclusive, with severe human security consequences. Debates surrounding the fourth industrial revolution often focus on developed countries and some emerging economies, but these debates are equally relevant for Africa. The United Nations Economic Commission for Africa predicts that half of Africa's population will own smartphones by 2020. That's just around the corner. The rising profile of the platform economy across the continent could not only improve the production and the flow of goods and services between countries, but also help to realize wide-ranging economies of scale. Such benefits can be of particular importance in sub-Saharan Africa, where 95% of businesses are small and medium-sized enterprises. We can all be encouraged by the many examples of the effective use of advanced technologies in Africa. In Rwanda, medicine is being delivered by drones. In Uganda, a biomedical smart jacket, which can measure body temperature, heart rates, and lung condition, is helping doctors to diagnose pneumonia. In Nigeria, crowdsourcing is providing financial support to thousands of farmers. And in Kenya, a blockchain application is assisting in land registration. And here in South Africa, drone aerial imagery is used to identify problems of crop yields in sustained periods of drought. Machine learning algorithms have been designed to allow citizens to locate nearby mobile health clinics, and at this very moment, the AI Expo Africa is happening, and this is the largest business-focused African intelligence and data science community event in Africa. These advances are important and exciting, but the picture of the impact of digital technological has shadows as well as light. New technologies are also exacerbating existing inequalities, and this will worsen if they're not managed properly. A recent study of the UN Conference on Trade and Development suggests that labor-saving technologies increase income inequality, even if technological followers can adapt these technologies immediately. And a study by the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs focusing on sub-Saharan Africa shows that while advances in mobile telephones and digital ID have helped more people open a first financial account, disparities in account ownership by gender, education, and income have widened. For African countries to reap the full benefits of the fourth industrial revolution, national policies, laws, and regulation should provide better direction and an enabling environment for technological progress. A particular focus is needed to include and impact our youth. Their involvement in policy formulation will be critical. The continent's large youth population presents an opportunity for tapping a source of creativity and innovation. At present, young people are often left without access to high-quality education investments, and for too many, they are unemployed or underemployed. We yet again risk excluding the future potentials of our continent. We've long talked about the glass ceiling for women, but I can assure you today that youth have a concrete one that they're carefully chiseling away at. In the United Nations, we're increasingly focusing on the fourth industrial revolution and its impact on our individual and collective challenges. The Secretary General's high-level panel on digital cooperation, which was made up of 20 distinguished leaders in the digital field, 3 of them from Africa, submitted its report in June to the Secretary General. The panel proposes a set of recommendations aimed at closing digital divides and building digital capacities as an accelerator for SDG implementation. It proposes the creation of multi-stakeholder and multilateral mechanisms to support the building of inclusive digital economies, digital human rights, trust and cybersecurity, digital public goods where ownership and the benefits of data accrue locally. I believe this report provides an important blueprint for discussions on how best to manage new technologies. In conclusion, the course of our discussions today and tomorrow, I hope that we will address with far more clarity and in practical terms how we operationalize the way that we achieve an inclusive digital economy and society where no one is left behind, that we develop a human and institutional capacity to harness the full potential of technology and close that divide, ensure that human rights and human agency are protected, build trust, security, and stability, and finally, enhance a global digital corporation for our global family. I thank you.
Deputy Secretary General, you mentioned the importance of integrating the young generation. They have to sit on the table. We are now living in a time where I think it's not anymore the old people who mentor the young people. In the digital world, it's much more the young people who have to mentor the old people. So we have considered that we integrate now into the discussion young people. And we have, the World Economic Forum has a community of 10,000 global shapers around the world. Africa is particularly represented. And we have four global shapers here. And I would give them the floor to raise questions and to make comments if appropriate. So may I call first on Doreen to raise a question or to make a comment related to what you have heard.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Doreen Kesi, Global Shaper from the Dar es Salaam Hub, Tanzania. And I work in tech. I lead a Pan-African social enterprise that creates African edutainment reaching 15 million kids across the continent. So my question is, we are seeing a lot of exciting innovations on the continent that have proven to be effective and impactful. And yet, oftentimes, we see that these innovators actually operating in the sidelines as governments fail to adopt and scale up these solutions. So I'm just wondering, what will it take for government to honor and collaborate with innovators and civil society instead of reinventing the wheel to drive change? Thank you.
So government.
Minister, do you want to respond? Or
I caught the last part of the question because of the sound system not being good. But what would it take for governments not to reinvent the wheel?
Yes, and to collaborate with innovators and civil society.
Okay. Well, if the doors are locked, just break them.
Oh.
One way.
In South Africa, we have the Presidential Council on the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which has to collaborate with young people. But if indeed you feel that people are not listening, you must make sure that they listen. There's a lot of things that governments do, and they have to involve young people. So, I mean, in our case, in our cabinet, the minister responsible for this work is not that old. I know in other countries, in Botswana, for example, the Minister of International Trade is not that old either. So that mixture, I think, between the old and the young goes a long way to taking advantage of the things that young people produce for the benefit of the economies.
Deputy Secretary General.
Okay, let me answer as a former cabinet minister. I think you need a champion in government, and it should be the president for young people today. So I think you should challenge presidents to become champions for young people today, not tomorrow. I think the second thing... I think the second is that we need to find results-based frameworks, and that sounds like a lot of grammar, but we need to hold governments accountable to answering how, in fact, they made impact in the lives of young people. So when you have measures, it should go beyond GDP. That GDP should explain to you how you have been included in that economy, and we should have specific results around that table to which governments need to answer for, and that parliaments need to hold fire under their feet. It doesn't work when you just have a plan or you invest in the plan. It's only when we are reporting back on how much difference we've made. And then I think third and last, there are many entry points into how you engage with the government. And I think that young people can be more proactive in looking at the regulatory frameworks, insisting on their place at the table. And I think here is where the UN can help to facilitate and to open up those platforms where that engagement can happen if it is not able to happen directly. So again, it's collaboration, it's partnerships, and it's finding those avenues, depending what the priorities of that country are, to ensure that you are part of that economy and part of the results that we get out of it.
Let me make 3 remarks related to this issue. First, we have invited to this meeting in recognition of our own multi-stakeholder approach, young people. There are quite a number of global shapers and young global leaders here of the World Economic Forum, but we have also invited startup companies. And I met the startup companies yesterday, and I was just impressed by the dynamism and entrepreneurial spirit of those companies. And we should not, there is one figure in preparing for this meeting which really struck me. There are now 400 companies in Africa already which reach revenues of above $1 billion, which is really remarkable. It shows the entrepreneurial spirit. Let me just ask the I include the social entrepreneurs, I include the young global leaders, the global shapers, and the startups to raise their hand so we can, so we can recognize them and we can honor them. The second remark, one of the initiatives we start here, and I know, Elsie, it's your pet initiative, is the creation of a Africa Growth Forum, which would bring a platform to bring together startups, investors, mentors on a Pan-African basis. And the third remark relates to a project which actually came out of the digital panel of the UN and is a consequence of the cooperation agreement which we signed. We are developing a platform behind each of the social development goals. Because one of the digital platform, one of the issues, there are so many activities, there's such a lot of ideas, but how can we make sure to scale up those ideas so that others can learn? Many of those fantastic ideas remain isolated. How can we make sure that best practices are much faster communicated on an African level and taken up by other entrepreneurs? I call now on Raya, also a global shaper. Raya.
Thank you. My name is Ria Kwewar. I'm a global shaper from Ghana, and I work in economically integrating refugees and migrants. So Africa is currently championing the historic African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is about envisioning this truly Pan-African vision for the continent. However, sentiment against refugees, and specifically migrants, are ripe throughout the continent. Is our Pan-African vision truly recognized if we don't challenge the underlying xenophobia in the pockets of the continent? And how can South Africa lead on curtailing and ending acts of xenophobia?
Question of actuality.
Yeah, no, it's a good starting point. The fact that the African leadership have now signed in large number the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, it's a good thing. It's a good start. And I would hope that our leadership lead in popularizing this major agreement within the different countries, so that it's understood by every business person, it's understood by every trader, it's understood particularly by every border post official, and it's understood by every truck driver and by every editor and so on, so that we can get this message across. It's a huge development in Africa. I think probably the most biggest thing that has happened since post-colonial societies in Africa. Now, President Ramaphosa said yesterday that if we want the free movement of goods, goods don't walk on their own. Goods are moved by people. So therefore, the free movement of people is a logical conclusion. If the free movement of people is supposed to happen, whether it's through the AU passports or whatever the case is, by the way, I do have an AU passport myself, but that should facilitate the movement of people and trade. Now, if we're going to have that movement of people, one cannot be in a position where you allow this person but don't allow the other. As I said, we're all Africans, and we need to begin to inculcate within ourselves that mentality that we're all Africans. And that we should, I mean, as an African, I should settle wherever I want to settle in Africa. Why should I not be allowed to go and settle in Uganda and be an uncle, a farmer? Why these differences amongst ourselves? So I strongly really of the view that African solidarity is key, and living together as Africans is key. If a South African wants to live in Abuja, they should be free to do so. If a Nigerian wants to live in Johannesburg, they should be free to do so. These artificial barriers that we have created and this hatred amongst ourselves must really be a thing of the past. And here in South Africa, we're going through a very difficult time of these animosities that have been generated and the violence. But the responsible authorities are dealing with that. But central to solving the issue is not just an issue of the police or whatever, it's a political question. We have to go to our people and discuss politically that what some of them are doing is wrong. The majority of South Africans are against what's happening. Majority of South Africans are appalled. My own niece called me yesterday saying that she had to leave residence and come back home because she felt unsafe. Now, the majority of us don't want this thing, but we shall overcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. As you spoke about refugees, migrants, internally displaced persons, I think today the AU is creating a framework to address that response within Africa. And I think it's important that we frame it as it works for Africa. And we have many good examples, as in Uganda, also that you see in DRC, the largest number of IDPs within that country. A lot to learn from it. But as we go towards instruments like the CFTA that will have a number of implications that we should take advantage of, we should profit from what happens when we say cross borders, as you said, with goods, but it's about people. So investing in those people, investing in the barriers and bringing them down so that we can actually do this in a way that's sustainable. Addressing root causes of a lot of what causes the fear. I think that leaders also have to speak to their people about some of these concerns. We constantly have to be communicating. Africans are a communicating society with values and with solidarity that has got us this far. And we need to strengthen that when we're suddenly doing something that is new, given the context that we find ourselves in. And let's not make any mistake about the challenges of conflict for which we've never seen the like. This is something that we really need to open up to. The fear factor is real. And we need to address it. We need to speak to people about the opportunities of overcoming it and how we have leadership to engage with it. And I hope that we will see us speaking to transitions. It is important to speak to that because that is the reality, managing the expectations of the CFTA, what is possible within a short, medium, and long term. So operationalizing the CFTA is going to be a huge burden for leaders, but I'd say leaders at all levels. It's not just about our presidents, our prime ministers, our heads of government. It's also our business leaders. It's our leaders in parliaments, in our communities, in our societies. And when we are most stressed, then we need to find ways of digging deep to bring back the social cohesion that has allowed us to exist thus far under many circumstances that countries elsewhere in the world would not have survived. And so as we see the challenges, the Minister of Finance here is a South African, I'm a Nigerian, and we have never done so much work together in trying to look at the reforms on the continent. So we need to look at what binds us and not what separates us. The diversity of this continent is huge, and that is where our strength lies. And we need to speak to that every day in every manner and show it in practice as we face many of the headwinds that currently South Africa is facing.
I think here, as the President yesterday mentioned, the fourth industrial revolution can also help with the introduction of the digital identity for everybody, which will allow, let's say, to make sure that the bad elements who exploit the system in a free movement can be much better identified and the good elements can be fostered. Now we have two other global shapers. Macario, I call on you.
Thank you. My name is Sylvia Macario. I am from the Kigali Hub in Rwanda. I'm a geospatial and space technology engineer, and I work for a company called Hept Analytics, focused on helping organizations to make better and quality decisions using data. So my question is on space technology. While it's capital intensive, it's becoming really increasingly important to countries that truly want to leapfrog and achieve new economic dividends. How can we as young people participate in this space race without losing focus on immediate problems like food insecurity? Thank you.
Okay, so this is where we own up to being old and not with it, and do we know what we're talking about? Look, space technology for us today has enormous potentials, particularly as it becomes more accessible. And I think that with young people, you're engaged with that right up front. How do you bring that into the priorities of your government? And it's pretty difficult when we've got a few choiceless choices. Using space technology to help look at our crops, to help look at health, to help look at, let me say, data, for instance. We are suffering from baselines that we have to go the old way of collecting our statistics. Yet we know today that with space technology, you can actually count the number of goats in my farm, in my home in Nigeria. I can do that without sending somebody out there to find out how many there are. I don't think we're connected with the opportunities. I think we need more knowledge in the policy space of the advantages of space technology. And I think it's, again, being siloed. I think it needs to be brought in to the mainframe of those discussions. I hope we can do that. Today, we have an existential threat, which is climate change. And that, I think, is something that we can do more readily now to prepare the pipelines for our NDCs as we seek to invest in greening our economies, but also in finding, continue to educate us. As we bring you in.
I think the question just shows us how far advanced the African youth is in its thinking. You have here someone who is at the forefront in data analysis and asking a question related to the next forefront, which is space technology. I think it gives us clearly a great insight into the thinking of the next generation. Now we have a last question.
Professor, let me, before you go, despite my failure to answer this question, there are 3 ministers here that you might wish to talk to during the break. One of them is Minister of Science and Technology of South Africa. The other one is the former Minister of Science and Technology. And the third one is the Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies. So I think as I kick for touch, I'm sending you in that direction.
Yeah. Thank you, Minister. Now we have the last comment by Martin Balaba.
Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Martin Balaba from the Kampala Hub in Uganda. I'm a medical doctor and I work with the Infectious Diseases Institute. My question to the panel is, it is predicted that in the next 10 years, largely youth mortality rates will be due to non-communicable diseases compared to the current burden of infectious diseases like TB, malaria, and HIV. What new and creative approaches do governments and implementing partners need to adopt to address this challenge? Thank you.
Well, I'm in trouble today.
Your health minister is
The Minister of Health is not here.
not here.
The Minister of Health is not here. I don't know whether any of the presidents is a medical doctor here. So I hand over to Amina.
You see what I mean about the collaboration between South Africa and Nigeria? A lot of what we've got to contend with, I think, going forth has been about our lifestyles. And I think we really have to take a lot of cognizance about more knowledge in nutrition. We've talked about nutrition for a long time where we say malnourished, and it's been about Africa and the very poorest of poor and our children. But I think now with the universal agenda and the SDGs, it is much more about our lifestyles, it's about nutrition, it's about how that becomes not just a Minister of Health's problem, but even a Minister of Industry, a Minister of Finance, what we invest in, and how we create much more healthy and viable lifestyles, sustainable lifestyles. The UN, in about, I think it's 2 years' time, are holding a world, again, conference on nutrition. It has been a huge piece of the work that's done with climate. The climate agenda itself is looking to see how, in fact, this is factored in to what we would say are nature-based solutions to healthier lives, to healthier lifestyles. And I know that that's not a complete answer to it, but it's certainly been taken much more centrally in as a cross-cutting issue and not just a matter of health. It is about agriculture, it is about industry. And again, I would say it is much about us not adopting the lifestyles that certainly do more damage than good to the African continent.
Martin, I would ask you, not just you have asked a question, but what would be your recommendation? But let's first take Martin. Do you have a recommendation which you related to your question?
Can I have the question?
Yeah.
Give us a solution.
Give us a solution for your question.
So I need to answer my own question. But I am not going to answer this question myself. We are privileged in the room to have the Permanent Secretary of Health in Uganda. And she will be an authority to respond to that because she's well equipped with the national strategies in the president to answer this question. So thank you.
Your Excellencies and the Chair, we as a country and also as a continent where we have the biggest disease burden, I concur with one of the panelists that this problem is not mere a problem of health. It has to be looked at in a joint manner, but also strategically looking at the public and especially the primary health care initiatives, looking at the community level. If we invest our efforts if each government invests at community level where the biggest burden lies. Then once we reduce the disease burden at the community level, and we increase the productivity of the nation, of the population, because we are talking about economic empowerment. You cannot have economic empowerment when you have a diseased community. Therefore, the productivity at community level, we must achieve health at community level. And therefore, the nations in Africa where the disease burden lies need to invest more at the community initiatives that will make the community more productive and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. We have time for a very short comment here. Otherwise, we are running out of time.
African Union.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schwab and the distinguished panel. My name is Amina Abu Zaid. I'm the African Union Commissioner for Infrastructure Energy. But I'm going to respond to this question not as the African Union Commissioner, but as an Egyptian. Egypt has addressed recently the question with the help of and the support of the WHO. It's been since last year that Egypt has been running the largest campaign ever to detect and treat non-communicable diseases to everyone, and including also 5 million Africans. So which means that whether it's non-communicable diseases, virus C, and recently the breast cancer detection and treatment for free across the country, the country, going village by village, community by community, city by city, and by the end of this year they'll be finished with 100 million people, and that's called the 100 Million Campaign. And that's an example also that is happening in this very continent.
Thank you. We unfortunately come to the end of this opening session, and I may ask the two panelists just with a final statement. What was for you the most important message coming out of the discussion we had?
For me, the most important message has been about inclusion and how to get more young people and everyone actually benefiting growing economies and what we say would be the rising Africa. I think that this is it, is how do we not leave anyone behind? That's the message I get, and how do we do it now? How do we do it at scale and make sure that we deliver on our promises?
I think a number of things have come out. One is that we have to embrace the fourth industrial revolution. It's not something maybe that's coming tomorrow. It's here. It's a continuous process. That there are many possible advantages of the fourth industrial revolution in Africa, and we should embrace it. Thirdly, that we have to integrate quite clearly, we have to integrate the working arrangements between the young and the old, so that we all work together in facing the future. So, and there are many solutions which I'm sure young people can bring about to many of the problems we face. And those solutions might be unknown to us, the old, but may be very simple things for the young, subject, of course, to appropriate guidance by those who know. I think that's very important. And finally, Professor, the need always to foster this African solidarity, this global solidarity, as we build the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. I thought those are the messages that came out for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. I would add a proposal. You mentioned that the South African government has created a commission on the fourth industrial revolution. But as you said, Minister, The fourth industrial revolution is not just a factor of one specific dimension, one specific industry, it's penetrating everything. So my proposal is to every African government, actually to every government in the world, why don't you nominate the Minister for the Fourth Industrial Revolution to have a permanent seat in the cabinet and to make sure that all the dimensions are really considered. I know you have, yeah, so it's an enlarged mandate. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for particularly the global shapers, but a special thanks to our panelists, to the President, represented so well by the Minister and by the Deputy Secretary General. Thank you.